Hi, this is Bob Papa, voice of the New York Football Giants, and this is the Big Blue UK and Ireland podcast.
Welcome back, Giants fans, to this new series, and please welcome my guest for this episode, the man with the Big Bluebulance. God, that's a tongue twister. Tommy Cucci, how you doing, buddy?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Yeah, really good.
Excited to be here. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, thanks for taking time out of your day today. I really appreciate it. So, this is a new series we're doing with fans, content creators, beat writers, everyone. So, 5-ish questions. Quick fire predictions. We're done 15, 20 minutes, all in. All good?
Perfect.
Cool. Let's get into it. So I asked this question for the UK fans, but I still ask it to the American fans just in case. Have you been a Giants fan since birth?
Yes. I grew up in northern New Jersey, 6 miles away from what used to be Giants Stadium, now Metlife Stadium. So born into it. Bleed blue forever.
And that's literally from just through family. Is that through the links?
Yep. My mom wasn't really a football fan. My dad liked the Giants. My aunts and uncles, all Giant fans. So didn't really have a choice. Better than the Jets. Sorry, Jet fans.
Yeah, exactly.
We've at least won some Super Bowls in relatively recent times. So
exactly, and playoffs.
Yes.
Right, let's get into it. So we'll start with the the depressing stuff first, I guess. And last season, how do we sum up last season?
Utter disappointment, I guess, is a good 2-word answer. I mean, you're coming off a season where we weren't supposed to do 2 years ago, weren't supposed to do much. Set the tone week 1 against the Titans that game. Go for 2, win the game, and kind of we go make the playoffs and we beat Minnesota. Kind of knew we had no chance against Philly, but then you come into last season thinking, how things are only going to be better, and we were pretty terrible. So just disappointed, and it sucks to have season tickets and go to games and watch that product out on the field, but maybe I'm a little more hopeful for this season. So.
I mean, we went to our first ever game at Metlife last year, and we went to the Patriots game, if you can remember that one.
Yep.
It was bad. Right, so the Giants were on Hard Knocks. A little easier probably for you guys to watch it than it was for us. We had to jump through some hoops, but however, we did get to see it. What were your major takeaways from it?
Yeah, this is actually an even better story. Before we get to Hard Knocks, is one of my best friends from my country club. He is dating Joe Schoen's wife's sister. So I've gotten been able to see a little more access than other people have. We get to, go on the field, some pregame stuff. So it's, I loved it. I think he's a great guy. I think, if you look what he did to get, Brian Burns and what they originally wanted, right? I mean, he was like, oh, give me 2 1s, and we got him for a 5th and a 2nd. I like our draft. I mean, I personally like the Washington wide receiver better than Neighbors, just from a personality standpoint. I don't know. Neighbors, I think, is going to be too much of an Odell Beckham, in my opinion. I think he has a talent to be incredible, but I'm a little worried about his work ethic and what happens when things go sideways and it's not all butterflies and rainbows. So, but I think Hard Knocks was awesome. It was super cool to see the inside, the inside stories and how the organization works. So it was pretty neat. I was pretty impressed by it.
There was obviously a lot of kind of insight, but there were other moments in there of the more family side of things, a few jokey moments. What was your favorite moment from the entire series?
I liked when Sean had all his kids in his office, and he was like, "Hey, who should I draft?" And they all picked the quarterback, basically. And I was like, I'm glad we didn't take a quarterback as early as we did, and we didn't trade away. So I'm glad he didn't listen to his 7-year-old or 8-year-old or however old his kids are. So that was kind of my favorite part.
He asked them a few times, didn't he? Yeah,
Yeah.
about who they were going to take, etc. So,
and I really liked, not as like a cute fun part, like the player interviews, like especially with the quarterbacks. Like, I mean, it goes to show you how smart all the coaches are and college players. Like, hey, run me through this play, and they're like, and they go through all those, crazy terms, and it's pretty amazing to see. I guess that's what they do for a living, so they should know how that stuff works. So
yeah, right. It'd be interesting if one of them came in and was just like, "Yeah, I don't know."
Yeah, yeah, it wouldn't be good for your draft potential, your draft stock.
No. So obviously we've picked up quite a few different players in the draft and free agency. A lot of big names, maybe some under radar ones. Who do you think will make the biggest impact this season?
I'm hoping our offensive lineman, I can't pronounce it. Illuminor, I think is how you say his name. Yeah. So I personally think if we can have, last season with our offensive line, didn't matter who we had back there. I mean, even like what they said too, like Mahomes couldn't live with our offensive line last year. So I'm hoping he makes the biggest impact. So
cool. And then what about maybe through the draft? If we look at the draft prospects there,
I mean, I gotta go with Neighbors. Like, let's go. Like, give me, let's see the big play potential.
give us a 1,000-yard receiver for the first time.
Yeah, I don't even need 1,000 yards. Just be able to spread the field open, right? And let Slayton and Isaiah Hodgins like be slot receivers, or whoever's gonna be the slot receiver, and do what needs to be done. So.
So we've seen 2 preseason games already, but very different between the two of them. The Lions was gritty and tough-nosed. The Texans was much more up and down and mostly down. How do you sum it up so far?
Yeah, I mean, the 2 interceptions weren't good, but I mean, Dan Jones didn't look terrible after that. I mean, this guy's first game back coming from, knee surgery and being hurt most of the last year. So, I just doesn't look good with, his track record from previous seasons. But although, let's not forget 2 years ago, he was a playoff winner. Though, I mean, he didn't throw a lot of touchdowns, but, it's preseason, and I'm glad he got the rust out now. And, he's, we have the Jets on Saturday, which, whatever, I don't really take preseason much with a grain of salt, but, he's got one more week of playing probably a half or a quarter, and then, it's time to show up at the home opener, week 1 against Minnesota. So,
no, I mean, once the preseason's done, nobody cares about the record because it doesn't exist. So,
exactly. Yeah, I mean, and I don't look at preseason records to mean anything. I mean, right? You get you're playing third and fourth string guys halfway through the game. That half of them won't even be on the football team in 2 more weeks, which is sad, obviously. But so, yeah, I felt, it wasn't good press. I just felt bad for Daniel Jones because it wasn't good press, but he made some good throws, after those interceptions, and and threw it downfield and took chances, and he would have really scored. Would have had a passing touchdown, but what's his face got tackled on like the half-yard line. So,
yeah,
I'm not, I'm cautiously optimistic.
Well, let's talk about the upcoming season. What's the sort of expectations and hopes without giving a prediction?
My hope is that we're competitive in all our football games, and we don't let the Eagles and Cowboys. Talk about a depressing time last season. Cowboys home opener. Losing 40-0 in the rain. I mean, we left at the end of the first quarter. I was like, I'm not even staying. But my hope is that we're competitive, and we stay in games, and we like 2 years ago, and we pull some out when we need to down the stretch, and and our defense and offense plays well, and we look like look like the franchise that we're it's our 100th year, and we look like the franchise that we're supposed to be. That nitty gritty, that hard-nosed football that our defense wins championships and run the ball down people's throats and throw it when we got to, and
Have you been able to get to any of the stuff they've done so far for the 100th season?
No, I mean we've gotten stuff for like our season tickets, like the commemorative box with the rings and everything. That those just went out. So, but no, I haven't done anything. I don't go any like the fan. I give most of my I give all my well, it's only one game this year. All my preseason tickets away and stuff like that. I have a 6-month-old baby at home, so I'm not using my games on preseason games.
No. got to play those cards right.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I keep looking over because he's up on the iPad. He's in his crib, so if you see me like peering over, that's why. I'm not a crazy person.
Well, let's do some quick fire predictions then. So you can interpret this however you want, but we do a thing called most valuable giant. So most valuable giant on offense.
Daniel Jones. Yeah, it's either he's going to be a giant after this season or he's not going to be, because he will not be here because we can get rid of him here. So, and he is right. The quarterback runs the show. He is going to be the key to our success this year.
Yeah.
Otherwise I would Otherwise, it's going to be Andrew Thomas or Illuminor will be our other most valuable. But I'm going to stay with Daniel Jones as my pick.
What about on defense?
Oh man, Sexy Dexy. I love him. I mean, he's a run clogger. He can get pressure. He's going to be able to free up Burns and my God, what the hell's his name? Why am I forgetting other linebacker's name?
Thibodeau.
Yes, thank you, Kayvon. Hopefully, I love Dexter Lawrence. He's probably the best thing we've ever drafted. So he's my favorite. He's my favorite giant. I don't know, not all time, but right now, I love him. Justin Tucker, my all-time favorite giant, and also I play a lot of golf with him. So shout out to Justin. We're members of the same country club here in New Jersey. So
oh, nice.
Yeah, so we get out there every once in a while on the golf course.
What about surprise package? So the player who you think might go under the radar during the season.
My hope is either. Oh man, do I want to say our rookie tight end? Either him or Isaiah Hodgins. I would bet, because Devin Singletary I don't think is going to be that good. Although I like that rookie running back, but I'm not sure how much playing time he's going to get. So I'm going to go with either a rookie tight end or Isaiah Hodgins.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So before we sort of wrap up, let's sort of talk about the Big Bluebulance. What is it? What is it? Where do we find you?
Yeah.
How did it start?
Yeah. So the ambulance is owned by 3 of us in total. We're all college fraternity brothers. It's my buddy Jimmy Stewart and my best friend Rick Wallace. Me and Rick have 4 seats together, and then Jimmy's one section over. And our buddy Jimmy, is in medical sales, but was a volunteer EMT growing up. And he comes to us. This is our 11th year with it. 11 years ago, he goes, "Guys, I got this crazy idea." He's like, we would all tailgate together, but some of us lived in Manhattan and Jersey City and Hoboken. And it was such a pain in the neck to be able to, get stuff. We would keep stuff at my mom's house and go get it and then bring things. Like, I got this crazy idea. Why don't we buy an ambulance and turn it into this tailgate truck? I was like, what the are you talking about? Buy an ambulance? I didn't know you could even buy an ambulance. So lo and behold, we bought a 1996 used ambulance that had 12,000 miles on it. It was red and white. And Bro Bible's actually done an article on us, and you can see some original pictures of it. I can send you the link if you want to see it. And we bought an ambulance, and they painted it Giants blue. And then our buddy's a graphic designer and designed the decals, and we had it stickered up. And 11 years later, we still tailgate in Lot B, and we have a 42-inch TV, a deep fryer, a flat top. We do breakfast sandwiches in the mornings, pizzas. We have a pizza oven. So it just became this little bundle money pit of ours that we've had for 11 years. And honestly, it's so much fun. When people see it for the first time, you tell everyone oh, I got an ambulance, but until you really see it in person, everyone's jaw drops. When you guys come to the Ravens game, you got to come see us in Lot B. We have 30 people every game. We don't charge people. I know there's some tailgates out there that are, oh, hey, $50, all you can drink and eat. We just tell people hey, bring some beer, food's taken care of, throw it in the communal cooler and drink and eat whatever you want. We don't rent it out. We don't do anything crazy with it. It's just, it goes from, it lives in Tenafly, which is 15 minutes from the stadium. And we just go get it and we bring it to them from the stadium. We don't go to away games. That's that's what we do. So it was a really crazy idea, and it's all the credit in the world goes to Jimmy for coming up with the idea. He was the mastermind behind it, and yeah, here we are 11 years later, still kicking. So
it's amazing. Just a completely random thing that's turned into probably more than you ever imagined.
yes, and it's still, yeah. I mean, we brought, there was a concert at MetLife Stadium, Kenny Chesney last weekend, so it went out for that for a tailgate to get ready for the season. We called it like our little preseason tailgate. So it was, it's ready to roll week 1 in 2 weeks here. So we're ready to go.
Amazing. So what we'll do, if you send me all the information, we'll make sure we put it in the description for any of our listeners who are going out, and we'll sort of send them your way.
Yeah. Anyone is always welcome. We are super friendly, kid friendly. People bring their kids all the time. There's music playing, but we've got waters and sodas. We're very family friendly, and we're not like we drink, but we're not crazy partiers. We got to drive that. We got to drive that 12,000-pound machine home after the game.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true.
We stick out a little bit. If we're swerving all over the road. So
right. Well, that's all the questions done. Thank you so much for joining me. Like I said, I'll make sure all the information goes down in the description down below. Giants fans who are listening from the UK, if you're heading over, make sure to read all the information. We'll put the news article down there as well, so you guys can have a read of that. We do hope you've enjoyed this episode. Tommy, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Please make sure to like, subscribe, all the lovely stuff. All the social links will be in the description down below. But until next time, let's go Giants.
Let's go Giants.